Hey friends, it's Allison. I'm back again to share with you some more creative inspiration for Scrapbook Nerd. Today I am making a pocket page layout. It's a double page layout using Cocoa Vanilla No Limits. It is a layout about Mr. Booker, the dog that my daughter is dog sitting this summer. Speaking of Booker, I have him here today right now. We're babysitting again. So if you hear heavy breathing and squeaking, it's just Booker playing. I'm trying my hardest to wear him out because he has puppy energy and it's a lot of work. Anyways, back to the layout at hand. I am just showing you right now how I do my journaling. I typed it out on the computer and then printed it with my home printer. I like to put the paper that I'm going to add the journaling to on top of my pre-printed journaling. Use some ATG to attach it to my printer paper and then feed it through my printer again. And then that's how I get my journaling onto pattern paper. Here, I am pulling out some cardstock. That baggie that you just saw with all the greens and blues cardstock in it is how I store my scraps. I take the extra large baggies, just kitchen baggies, and throw my extras in there. It works perfectly. And then I keep it with the rest of my cardstock in my craft room. The reason I pulled it out is because the pattern paper from the 6x8 pad is not a true 6x8 measurement. It's a little bit short. And so I knew that when I slipped my paper into the pocket page, they weren't going to fill the entire page, or the pockets at least, because they were a little bit too small. So I decided to pull out cardstock and trim the cardstock down to 3x4 inches. There's two cards that are 3x4 and then one that's 4x6. And then I decided to layer the pattern paper over top of the cardstock. So that way I fill up each pocket in my pocket page and they don't flop around because they're too little. So I'm working on the 4x6 inch card right now. You can see I'm putting it over top of the green cardstock. I'm using my ATG to attach that. I'm using Close to My Heart cardstock that I have in my stash. Close to My Heart cardstock is double-sided. One side is a little bit lighter and then the other side is the true color. I flip the cardstock over so it's the lighter shade rather than the true shade. And then I put my journaling over top of that. I also took some other pattern paper from the No Limits collection and tore it and then put it on either side of my journaling. Here, I was trying to figure out how to make the embellishing work. I had planned this out on my Cricut before I actually sat down to create it. And I realized after I got the journaling done that I hadn't left enough room for the embellishment that I wanted to put on the right-hand side of that card. So I had to improvise. Rather than using the die cuts, which are on the larger side, there's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't going to work with the margins that I had left for myself. I decided to go to the sticker sheet and pull off a round sticker and trimmed it in half. And then I went back to the die cut pack and looked for embellishments that would work as a replacement for what I had planned originally. I came up with this arrow. I'm going to staple it over top of that half circle. And I'm also going to add a couple of stars around it as well. One of the stars is from the die cut pack. The other star is from, honestly, I think it's from Simple Stories. It somehow got mixed up with my No Limit stuff, but it still works. It was the right color. So I'm going to plunk it on the other side of the arrow. I decided to put the arrow facing down and pointing into the journaling. I had two options. I could put it so it was facing up, pointing to the picture that is going to go above that card in the pocket page, or down, and then I decided to put it down instead of up. Here I'm working on one of the 3x4 inch cards that's going to go into one of the other pockets. Here is that picture of Booker. The story that I'm sharing here is a story about having him for the long weekend. His dad was out of town for the weekend and he needed a babysitter, so we took him. We needed to burn off some energy because, like I said at the beginning of the video, he's a pup and has lots of energy. So I got in touch with a very dear friend of mine who has an acreage and a puppy herself. and we decided to set up a puppy date. And so this photo, and then the other photo that goes with this layout is from that night. They played so hard, both dogs. They had an absolute riot. So I had to get this story documented. You won't see the other photo that I use in this layout because quite honestly, I forgot about it. I didn't plan on putting any embellishments or anything onto the other photo. It's an oversized photo. I printed it at 7 by 8¼ inches. So that means it will go outside of a page protector in my album rather than inside a 6 by 8 inch page protector. And it's just a picture of both dogs out at the acreage while they were playing. But I wanted a close up of how filthy Booker ended up after their little play date out at the acreage. They had so much fun. They got super dirty and Booker required a bath the day after. It was too late in the night for us to give him a bath that night, so I had to do it the next day. But yes, it was well worth the filth to get them socialized and meet and have fun. We're actually going to do it again today, a little bit later on. So we're looking forward to that. So back to the layout again. I pulled out one of the die cut titles from the collection. I thought the title No Limits would work perfectly for this layout. And then that little banner underneath it that says Play Hard was like it was made for this story. So I had to include that on that card. And then I also added some of the die cut stars on the other side of the word no, and also a circle from the die cut pack behind the title, just to tie the whole thing together. I go back to this photo of Booker and decide to add another star to his photo. This one is from the chipboard sticker sheet. I plop that on top of the 2 phrase stickers that I add to his photo, which by the way, you will see them at the end of the video, but it says something like beast mode and something like wild child. I can't remember what the other phrase sticker is, but they were once again perfect for this whole story. I'm just adding the date here. I'm using my new Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink to get that stamped. Perfect match to this collection. I absolutely love that color, by the way. Definitely check it out. If you want to get a hold of this collection, I will leave the link to Scrapbook Nerd down in the description box below, so definitely go check them out. Here's the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends, and I'll be back again soon with more inspiration. Bye, guys.